So you're probably wondering what we're doing here and who this person is next to me. This is the Sasha Fox.
Hi. Hello.
And we are going to just get into Sasha and how we know each other and all of the various exciting things that is Sasha.
We're just going to chill.
Yeah, we're just going to hang out
like
here.
old times.
Just like old times. And what that means is Sasha and I were almost roommates twice. Mm-hmm. Both of those times ended up not being roommates, which is weird because I feel like the universe brought us together as like 18-year-old kids to like have this really interesting like experience, like being adults and like getting out of the house. Mm-hmm. And we met and we were both like, oh, you're really cool. Like you grew up in LA. I grew up in LA. Mm-hmm. You know, we had these like interesting experiences of like having parents in the industry and like all these things. How did you end up being like normal and cool and nice?
That's what we related on like from the start.
Yeah.
And bonded over too. But it also even like there were very big moments in our life. I mean, like between going from high school to college and then going out of college into
adulthood.
Those
were the intense. 2 times we almost lived together too, which is like even more interesting is like we literally were brought together the first time, which obviously we won't get, we'll get into, I guess, over the course of us talking, but that was, randomly connecting over getting into Chapman and it turned out that the roommate system was like random, first of all. And second of all, I didn't even go to Chapman. I got into USC.
I remember when we were like, we found out that it was by random. We were like, we can find a way. There's a way that we can bend it.
But we're rule benders. So we were like, fuck it. We'll just get an apartment. Like, I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
We're living together.
But it was forced.
But
forced
we were
roommates.
Excited because I think both of us were like looking for that, connection with someone that like understood us, understood like, you and I both had this passion for like music and film and art, and we both had kind of similar paths, and we were like, okay, cool, like this does exist, like, oh, all those tales you hear in high school where they're like, you're gonna meet your people in college, and we were like, oh shit, like that's great, let's fucking run with it, like cool.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen, but
but we still did make movies and hang out.
We did. We shot a
short
film. We shot a short film for my Moby Dick class.
Yes, that's what it was.
And then I met all your really fun film school friends.
Yeah.
And then part of me was like, I should have gone to Chapman, but here I am. No regrets though. And then the second time was post college, which we then reconnected. You were moving. You were like, I might go to London. I might go to New York. I might come to LA. And I was like, my roommate is leaving and I want the door to hit her on the way out. No pun intended. Actually, I really hope the door did hit her on the way out, but I was like, I want, maybe this can be the opportunity of us living together.
Yeah.
And it like was so close to happening. And then life, obviously I got a phone call being like, yeah, so like your life's going to change for the next however long, meaning I got a diagnosis that was incredibly kind of out of left field. And then obviously, you had your dad's apartment to tend to. And anyways, life happened. That didn't work out again.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that we had like 2 life-changing moments of being like, let's run into this together. Like,
I wonder what would have happened if we were roommates. I wonder the art that would have been created. But the thing is that we have it now. That's the best part. Is that like and that's the truth of it. It's like we went our separate paths for college, and then same with the beginning of that time period, because I was still like a little bit post COVID too. So it was like the world was opening up again. Like people were just getting back on their feet. This was like 2022. Yeah,
late 2022.
It felt like just awaking into that normal life and state. But dude, we were just talking about this. Like if I didn't stay in New York if I didn't stay in LA. When you asked, I don't know what happened. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You probably would have ended up in London or New York or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably be in like at least 4 different countries by now. But that can always happen. That's for tour.
True. The tour that will happen at some point.
Yes.
So obviously we were almost roommates twice. That's how we know each other. I guess we also know each other because of a plethora of other things.
How did we meet initially? Do you remember how we met? I
I think you and I saw on Facebook that we both got into Chapman, and then we got connected to someone.
Holy
or Instagram
shit.
or something. I think someone told me that you had gotten in, or someone had told you that a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And she's one of my longest friends, elementary school, and you met her in middle school or whatever. And then she like connected us, and then we like FaceTimed once, and we were like, wait, why are we like kind of the same person but different?
I remember looking at your illustrations on your Instagram account and seeing all of the artwork that you were doing of serial killers, and I was like, this girl understands my brain. Yeah. It's like, oh, this girl is kind of messed up like me. I feel the connection. And
she's like she has the streak. Yes. She has the mean streak. And I remember
between music, serial killers, and just like anything dark history, we just bonded over.
Yeah. I mean,
just talk about it.
It was definitely like feeling also just kind of like we were these people that were like young and confused and like trying to find outlets where that was like either art or music or film or trying to find the people that got it, because we definitely both kind of had our own like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Why do I have these interests?
Yeah.
Why do I not feel like I'm getting along with half the other kids my own age? Mm-hmm. I'm interested for you to talk about like what your upbringing was like, because obviously like you had an LA experience. It wasn't like mine though. Like, how old were you when you left?
The first time I left, well, it's interesting because I don't really know what to answer anymore. People have been, when you ask or not ask, when you're around new people and you're talking the whole like, where are you from? Like, what's your upbringing? Whatever. Like, I'll be with people that are from LA, and they'll be like, you're from LA. And then I'll be with people from New York and no, you're not, like, stop lying. Yeah. And it's hard because I was born in New York, and I was living out here for small periods of time when I was like baby. But first time I left
Were you born here?
No, I was born in New York. I was born upstate in Mount Kisco.
Okay.
Mount Kisco, New York.
Never heard of that in my life.
It is a small town in Westchester. I'm from Chappaqua, but I was raised also in Chappaqua, but born in Mount Kisco. And
did mom and dad both live there?
No, my dad was living out. Well, he was like traveling and doing sport things, but he was living out here. We had a house out here in Marina Del Rey, and then my mom had the house in upstate in Westchester. Yeah. For like even before I was born, before when all my siblings were growing up and stuff, she built an extension of the house, so it's like her home. Okay. She didn't want to leave it, and I understand why. It's like that's our family home, but there was in two separate spots, and so he would be traveling, coming to New York all the time. We would be going to LA, hence the back and forth. And so I first left in second grade, I would say officially that I remember. So I was preschool and first grade New York. Yeah, preschool, first grade New York. Second grade here, I went to Curtis.
I was supposed to go to...
Yes.
Dude, it's so weird.
Yes, I was at
so
Curtis.
Really quickly, the weirdest part on top of us meeting when we were 18, about to go to college and being like, why are we so similar? Why do we have all these similar interests? Blase, 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 is I was supposed to go to the same elementary school as Sasha and didn't. And then I was supposed to go to the same middle school as Sasha and didn't. Really? So there were two. I was supposed to go to Campbell Hall. And then I ended up at Windward, which was a crazy, terrible experience in itself, and it lasted 5 minutes. But and if you don't know what these things are, you don't want to know, because they're terrifying LA private schools that are full of really scary people and scary things and haunted houses, basically. But anyways, there were two other opportunities for us to have like met and been friends and go to school together.
Just like, just parallel. It's
parallel
weird to each other.
It's very weird.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was at Curtis.
Yes.
When I was younger, I loved Curtis. I gotta say, it was so
you had
epic.
A good class too.
Yeah, our class is sick. I think I was in the, there's different huddles and groups at different schools, and I was in like the goofball huddle because we were fucking uncandid. We were insane, and so I was in this little this group. I found my people. It was great. Left after a year. Went to public school in upstate New York for third and fourth.
And how was that transition from like?
I was too young to let it hit me.
I was gonna say, like, did you get what was happening from the like college?
It felt, I would say, like when I went back, I knew that like something didn't feel. I mean, of course, like LA private schools are so bougie and like insane.
Well, I was gonna say they're like essentially like the same price as going to college per year, and you're there, and it's like very militant, but also these kids that are like total fuck offs and are like don't know where they belong in the world.
It's like everyone's playing sports, which I loved, of course, but it's like, you know, there was so much opportunity and there was a lot of access to the arts specifically and to everything, and so I loved it.
There's opportunity, but people don't really take it.
But they don't take it. Well, I took it.
That's good.
I did. Well, my mom was like, "You're doing everything."
Good. Good.
I was doing anything and everything I could.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I went to public school, it just wasn't that. You know, people were just check in, check out. And obviously you're in 3rd and 4th grade. So like, what do you know? And like, a lot of people don't really know their interests that like deeply then. I knew mine was arts oriented, but you know, I was just like fucking
little
reading.
Kid.
I was just a kid. I was fucking around. And, but it didn't have that same magic, of course, because it was in the middle of the woods and doing nothing. And so I didn't remember hating it. Mm-hmm. I just remember like missing LA. I just remember always wanting to come back. Exactly.
You were like what, 10?
Yeah.
9?
But we kept up on iChat, which was good.
I loved those days.
I know. You get to have your profile or like your little like caption header. Yeah. That was like, I'm online. What was your AIM? Fuck. I can't say it because it's my email. But I'll tell you guys. Mine. Yeah, say it. Let's do it.
XO pup.
Ooh.
Because pup is my family's nickname for me. So iChat.
Yes. But yeah, I would keep up emails, iChat. I'm a very like, and I carry this, and I think that's why I'm very loyal now, but like I carry up these relationships because it was all I knew. It was like, okay, no matter what, you can create these really, really strong bonds, but then also you can leave tomorrow for the rest of the year. You can like be shipped off to another country, another state to live. And so it was really important to me to have those bonds. And so, yeah.
So you were learning about like connection with people at like a very young age.
Yeah, because I always felt so alone and very lost because of it. So knowing the dark side of it, I was really chasing the other side, the better side. And so when I got after 3rd, 4th grade and I came back for 5th, 6th, 7th, shit went crazy. I was
same friends,
ecstatic. Same friends, same school. Went back to Curtis.
You're like out of the woods, back to the city, and ready to do it.
Great. Yeah. I felt like I was home again, and I just remember, like, you know, it's like when you come to LA and you're like, oh my god, like. I wanted to be an actor when I was a kid, so I was like the lights and like the glitter and the glam, like it's all so close, but it felt so distant and impossible when I was in the woods and so fucking boring.
Do you think that a piece of the wanting to act and be in entertainment had anything to do with like your upbringing?
Yeah, I think, well, I was always put in like theater camp and drama school, and I always liked it. I was always had that performer knack in me, so I knew that it was something I wanted to do. Weirdly enough, my mom didn't want me to do it early because, as we all know, the industry is fucked up.
That is so crazy because I wanted to act when I was a little kid, and it was very much like, no. Yeah. And I'm like, why? I do my little, you know, yada and my little like plays, and I have so much fun. But like when it comes to like, did you ever have one of those random women walk up to you in a Target parking lot and they're like, come to this audition?
Not even.
Dude,
that's because I was in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, that was
not happening out here for me.
But it was a big no in hindsight. I mean, Quiet on Set just came out, and I'm like, glad I didn't do that. But it's interesting that like you know, how you had a parent that was an actress and she was like protecting you from that world at a young age. Yeah. Trying to prevent you from like experiencing that.
Yeah, both of my mom and my dad were very much, and I found this out older, they didn't want to like to my face say, no, we're not going to let you do XYZ. Like, we don't want to crush your dreams. We don't want to like seem like we're not supporting you. But I found out later behind my back that they were like not really trying to push, because you know obviously they have their own careers, but also they just knew what it was and how scary it is, and the reality that like you have all your life to work, so like be able to be a kid and not have to worry about your image and not have to worry about, you know, just the reality of being an adult, which fucking sucks.
Or like the like, you know, oh, you're 8 years old but you're too short, or your nose is too big, or those things that like a little kid can't hear. You know?
It's fucked. It's fucked up. So, you know, when I what really happened was that when I came back here and I got to be a kid but still be near it, felt good. And then when I went back to New York for 8th grade, I left Campbell Hall. 7th grade, best year of my life, best year of my fucking life.
That was your like peak.
That was my peak. Oh my god, I'm just getting peaked out.
7th grade was not my peak.
Were you at Windward? You're at Windward.
It was hell on earth. I literally can't even describe it. It was like happy for you though. 7th grade was like the worst year. Oh my god, feels so bad for 12-year-old Caroline. I'm like, poor thing. She figured it out though.
Middle school's a tough fucking time. It's a tough era.
But you were just ready to like fuck shit up. So I'm happy for you.
I think 7th grade is when I really started to discover myself. Like it was like, it's not like entirely true, but you know, 7th grade was when I like started playing guitar, and it was when I started like really knowing that I wanted to be a musician deep down. It was something that I kind of knew like the aesthetic I wanted to lean towards, and more the world that I was attracted to than just, you know, kind of just going with what's popular.
Do you want to just kind of like explain a little bit about like what are like the uncommon things about you? Like what are the things that, I mean, obviously there's a lot that like in a weird way I can relate to your upbringing and that, you know, being around limelight and entertainment, but like for you, I think that the biggest difference is like I had parents behind the scenes, behind the screen. You had parents that were in front. So like what was that like I mean, growing up around that and even being in like a public restaurant or like having people like, you know.
I think that obviously what differentiates me from that exact thing of like, oh, every other kid that is in like Oklahoma and going to high school versus when I was going to fucking high school.
Shout out to Oklahoma.
So let's go Oklahoma. It's that exact thing where it's like there are elements of your life that are known and that you can't control. When I was living here, it felt more normal. Like I was like, all right, yeah, there's other kids at these schools that have the same experience. Like I don't feel as differentiated or like different than people. But then when I was in New York, it was very, very in my face. And
you were like the odd one out.
Yeah, I was not only the odd one out, but there was a lot of shame that went into it. It's that classic like Nepo baby thing that I have really, it's not that I have issues with it because I had to come to terms with it and kind of just settle with, this is the life that you're given, so you have to use this to, you know, your best ability, and know that like even when I try to either dampen it down or like if anyone ever is like, oh, like who's your parents do this, like I say that my dad's a scientist now because
fuck it up, cheers. Honestly,
it's the truth.
I mean I'm really like, I don't know, it definitely like in a weird way, I mean not even a weird way, in a good way, like it feels good to hear that like you also kind of are like, you know, taking the opportunity to separate yourself from where you come from and also understand that I mean there is not anything that you can do. I mean some people, you're born into a life and you either take advantage of it and do your own thing and make something happen for yourself, or you ride their wave, or you just fuck up. And I think like, you know, the thing that I really admire about you and I try to do in my own life is like kind of take advantage of where I come from and not be ashamed of it, but also really understand that like this is my script that I'm writing and this is my story that I'm trying to navigate. And it is interesting and cool to be able to see that the people that raised me were able to do something for themselves, but that's not me.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like
you're two different people.
Right.
Like just because
three.
But
you're
3 different people. Like because you don't have, just because you're tied to it doesn't mean that like I don't want to say that they're not a part of your life, but just because you do have that connection through family doesn't mean that it defines you in any way. Right. That's the one thing that I always get freaked out about, is that like,
was it like shameful or embarrassing when you were growing up at all, or was it just something that you like, how did you feel about that?
In New York, yeah. I remember when I was younger, like throughout high school, I would get like fully not called out, but like bullied. Like it would be people like coming up to me just saying like, oh, like, you know, Sasha this like LA girl, and like saying all this stuff where, you know, like, oh, like, can you pay for this? Can you pay for that? And it's, you know, which is why I ran the other direction where I was like, I don't want people at my house. I had my closest friends hang out at my house all the time, but I didn't like the idea of showing that side, even though it was reality. I felt like I always had to hide it. Because I felt that, and I wonder how you feel about this, where it's like finding true connections with people and being always either kind of having like an eye out to be like, okay, is this person using me, or are they actually here because they like me, or like,
I mean, and even as an adult that follows you, and I think like, it is one of those things where you were kind of trying to run away from it. I always felt this sense of like shame, I guess, a little bit, especially private school, USC, like going to a school where like these kids' parents are like tycoons and billionaires and God knows running the whole city, owning the whole city, and it was crazy to be around. But I think for me, like the biggest thing was because I wanted friends, especially in high school, I wanted people to like me, and I wanted that connection that I did use, I would be overly generous and I'd be like, everyone come to my house or let me buy the Uber and guess what? That bit me in the ass, first of all. Second of all, I figured out what it means to have real friends. Third, there's no third thing. But how did this is going to be kind of just a very direct, but how did going through that transformative experience that you had during COVID where you kind of, I know that you kind of refer to this person as your past self and your present self, where you I don't know how to explain it other than you just went through this kind of health kick.
I lost 60 pounds. Yeah. It was a whole switch up. I think everyone knows during COVID we were so bored. I had nothing to do. And it was something that I knew I always wanted, but I think that I was in high school so sad in the woods doing nothing. Yeah. That I didn't want to take care of myself, because I was like, oh, fuck it. This place sucks, so why would I want to make it any better? I'm going to make myself better when I'm in a situation that I enjoy. And during COVID, everyone I feel hated exactly where they were. Everyone hated the situation, and so I tried to make the best of it.
It's a lot of reflection.
It's a lot of reflection.
Do you feel like your kind of connections with people changed when you changed? Because I mean, even as your friend, we've known each other for years now, and we've gone through lots of very transformative experiences. Going from the ages of 18 to 24 is that's a big period of figuring out who you are. The girl that I was friends with at 18 is very different than the Sasha that I'm friends with now. And I feel even as your friend, I've grieved the loss of that friend and the new version of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think about that sometimes. Yeah. And I feel this is something with growing up in general, where we're still doing so I can only say so much
every day,
every single day. But there's with that old version that I just say it all the time, I know that version is dead. That version died with not my old body, but also the maturity of, you don't have to be a people pleaser, you don't have to have everyone like you, you don't you can't keep everyone in your life. You lose people when you leave college, and people move away, or you change when you change your lifestyle. All of a sudden you're not with those people that used to hang out till 4 a.m. and eat snacks and watch TV or video games. That yes, do I miss the relaxation of that time? Yes, I do. But I knew that when I made that shift, it didn't matter. I wanted certain things more, and the work that I put into it. And that's the same thing with work, with career-wise in general. Yeah. Which is why same thing, I stopped partying and drinking and smoking weed. I was
because now you're meeting this new person, another new version of yourself, which is now I'm, visually look like a different person. But now on top of that, I'm going through sobriety, which is stripping more layers back and really getting to the bone of who am I? And I think even hearing about that, and when you opened up to me about it, I wasn't, I kind of was just we all go through those moments of reflection, whether that's when you're 60 years old or you're 25 years old. And I think for you, I was obviously, it sucks to hear that you were going through, that period of time, but knowing that you've spent that year and that you're committed and that you're really focused on connection and working on yourself and finding, you know, the things and setting the boundaries in your life and creating a space for yourself that's healthy so that you then can like pursue the things that you care about.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yes, dude. Yeah. That's awesome.
Once I realized, I was like, okay, I want to create a vessel. I don't know what it was just like a challenge. I was like, okay, let's just see what happens if I want to become a runner. Let me become a runner. Became a runner, and then it just shit started to change. And then when I started to model in the beginning, I was doing plus size modeling. And then when I started to lose the weight, it was like, oh wait, this is affecting my career and jobs. I'm having a whole other like realm of brands that want to work now.
I think that's so interesting to think about, because as much as like, you know, I have struggled with my body image and all of these things, and always kind of trying to feel good about myself, especially in a city like this where people are like, you have to look this way and you have to act this way.
Yeah.
And then I get thrown into this experience where I, without a choice, gain 40 pounds, lose all the hair on my head, and I'm like, okay, there's nothing I can do about this. The only thing I can do is look in. And how can I make this person the best version of myself? And then when I'm ready and when I'm able and when I'm healthy, I can then focus on the outside. I mean, I guess this all kind of circles into the idea of like being a musician and being an artist. And like, how does the Sasha that was, you know, learning how to play the guitar at 13 years old, and the Sasha that was, you know, transforming herself, you know, and trying to find a healthier, you know, happier version of you. I don't know if you are happier now, but
I am.
How did, you know, music do that for you, and how does it do that for you now? Like what is your musical kind of like identity right now?
I think that my musical identity, I know that I used to always, when I was younger, when I was in high school and I was in bands, me and my friend Quinn would be, you know, jamming, performing for the school or whatever the situation. And even when I started to produce, I started to produce when I was like 17, 17. I was always as a producer, making music for other people as a, you know, as the lead guitarist, as the bassist. As one time I was put in this like, it wasn't a punk trio, but no, we were making punk. It was a 3-piece band, and he was like, we need a drummer. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm the drummer now, which happened. And that kind of always being there for someone else or for someone else's image and helping other people create their musical needs and wants, and being a vessel for that was important. But now being the vessel for myself and having to make the music for myself, that's where it's coming out of.
Do you feel like what you're writing in your music is aiming to resonate with other people?
Yeah, I think with my first track, my first song Antics that I released, I remember I spent like about a year. I mean, I've written and was recording stuff for even longer than that, but I spent a year really being like, okay, my first single is going to come out soon. What's going to happen? What is it going to look like? Who am I going to be speaking to? What do I want to say for that first debut thing? And I remember I kept on writing these songs, and I felt like I kept on writing to people. It was like, you know, I was zoning in, so I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking, I wasn't partying. I was rarely going out. I just knew that I wanted to record and put shit out. So I was making all this music that was like emo and sad, and I love it. I love all that like folky Phoebe side that I have in me. But I didn't understand what felt right to be put out in the first time for that first thing. And I realized through all the stuff that I would be writing about was, of course, like stuff from like high school or college, just like classic like boys and like your relationship with your family and all that, like
because we all have those journeys. I mean, most of us, but it's interesting to kind of zoom out and be like, okay, there's all these people that we look up to, musicians and sound, and you know, like we were just talking before we were filming this about like chord progressions. There's only so many chord progressions, so obviously things are going to start sounding like other things, or people are inspired by other people. And again, there's no rules for music. Like it's art. You're supposed to create. But do you think that like these musicians that we look up to, like we can actually relate to them, or are we just resonating with their music? Like Taylor Swift hasn't had a normal teenage young adult life. She's writing music and she's trying to speak to these people and tell these stories about love and loss and, you know, happiness and fears and blase, but she is not someone that you would ever actually like wake up and have a life like her every day. And she's a billionaire, you know,
certified
she's
billionaire
dating
now.
a Super Bowl champion and traveling the world and has a private jet. And that doesn't mean she's not an incredible artist and creating, you know, stuff that is impactful on other people. But that artist is not someone that we can relate to.
I think that which is I always say when I'm in writing sessions or I'm writing with other people, where it's like when you strip not only your lyrics but things really, really down to the core feeling and the situation of it all, like I try as hard as possible to be as raw as possible, because the thing is that all that glitz and glam, it's like you hear all those, like, you know, rappers will be like, this is my watch. This is not how they rap. They're like, this is my watch.
This is my watch.
And this is my car and this is that. And you know, and there's a long time where I wanted to be, I mean, I love my name. I love my name. And I gotta say, I was saddled with that epic name as a toddler. So I couldn't go elsewhere. But like, I wanted to have an anonymous aspect or an anonymous persona. Dude, this is something I realized when I was writing and kind of resonating on what I was first. I mean, like all the music that I listen to is it's either very sad or very angry. It's like all this like punk, it's either sexy, sad, or angry. And so when I was trying to be like, okay, what do I want to express? Like a lot of people don't see my anger side because I'm not that kind of person.
No.
But it lives in me, and like musically, and like knowing that like I have this much more, it's that like black cat golden retriever thing.
Yeah.
Where, like classically, everyone's like, okay, you're one or the other. And online, which is the truth, and like to people that don't really know me that well, I give off a very black cat, you know, dark, which I kind of want because it's weird. It's like I feel it's like that whole mask thing where it's like you go to a party and you know you're meeting people and you're like, oh hi, nice to meet you, putting on this face, whatever. But then you're sitting and you're just chatting and shooting the shit in the kitchen like we are, and it's very much more stripped. And so when you're I don't want to say choosing, but when you're figuring out your persona in the limelight and like in the industry, and like finding out how much of yourself you want to give to the world, the people that follow you, to, you know, your work, like really navigating that and knowing like, okay, do I keep this to myself? Do I give out? Knowing that I was like, oh no, I have to, because this, I mean, it's that kind of like Disney Channel star shit where it's like, you go in the world wanting to be a bubbly pop star, people are going to expect that always. And the minute you pull a Miley, I don't know why Miley Cyrus videos are resurfacing right now. Yeah. All on my feed has been like Miley twerking in 2013. Maybe it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years since Miley went like tongue and like Jay's on my feet.
You know what? She was like trying to be herself.
Yes,
she was
exactly.
Like, fuck this shit. Yeah.
But that like aspect
that's
of, like,
really interesting, because I feel like you have always been so bubbly and positive and smiling and happy, and the music is like the vulnerable, real like emotions that they're festering, and you're like trying to like break out of the like you said, people pleaser that you have been in the past. Yeah, because you know you can't always be a happy person.
With that people pleasing in the industry, you're already constantly trying to please your audience. You're always constantly trying to please, get the approval, get the love and all that kind of stuff. And like, I think I knew that if I didn't showcase the darker, more vulnerable, sad and angry side right off the bat, I didn't want to have that kind of, you know, tip over the scale later. And when I'm making all this happy music and then people are like, what the fuck? Are you okay? So like, actually, I'm fine. Have this outlet. I'm doing what I need to do. And like, know that you're not, and I know now that I'm not. And after a while, like, I'm not trying to chase anyone's approval. I'm not, that's why it's not like I'm proud that I don't promote my work, but it's like, I'm not chasing the likes. I fortunately have modeling still that I can make money off of. But like, the reality is you're not making music, or you're not making money from music.
Dude, that's true.
So it's like, why are you why are you doing this in the first place? A lot of my friends, I have some friends that are like, yeah, I make music because I want to be famous. And I'm like, that's good for you. That's not why I'm here. That's not why I'm here. That's never why I was here in the front. I have such a big fear, and who knows not who knows, I have to perform, but I have such a big fear of performing, and I have such a big...
That's so fascinating that you say that, because I know that like there is that like want and desire from most musicians. Like that's the thing that they want, is like, I want to go on tour and I want to slum it and I want to be on stage and I want to meet my fans and I want to like be in like the grittiness of tour life and I want to perform at festivals, and like that's the goal through all of it.
Yeah, the love is definitely still there. Like I mean, I was just at Coachella the other day and I was watching Deftones and I was like, I want this. It was like, it's time. Where that wanting is starting together, but it was never there from the start.
Well, I think the more you hone into your artistry and the more you hone into that identity of like, okay, like I am saying the things I want to say in my music and I am creating that image for myself, for me and not for the outside world, then it will come,
And the thing is also, I think... Exactly. It's like I knew from the start, I started an artist product and I started my own stuff so that I could, at the time I wasn't really hanging out with a lot of musicians, and I still produce on my own and I knew my sound. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do my own thing. But I think that's where the lines get blurred, where I'm like, do I want to be a producer or do I want to be an artist? Because a lot of the stuff that I'm making is more, I get a joy in checking into the studio at 10 a.m. I kill for comping my vocals. I love to have that kind of simple life, still creating art and putting it out there, kind of like a little project. But maybe it's the stress or like the big world that comes with being an artist, where you're on these shows. It is intimidating. It's really intimidating,
and to see like that those people don't have lives. Like, I don't know, I think with my own artistic journey as a musician, like I was questioning, am I a songwriter or am I wanting to put my own music out under my, artist name? Because I had that same feeling of like, I'm not doing this to get on a stage. I'm doing this because I have stories and I have feelings and I have things that I want to say in the music, and I'm so passionate about sound that I wanted to see that come to fruition, and I wanted to put it in the world and release it.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to perform soon at all?
God knows, maybe. I mean, I like would never be opposed to that idea, but it is one of those things where it's like, that's not on the list of why I'm doing it. It would be for, I would be doing that for other people. I wouldn't be doing that for myself.
I know.
I would be doing it if people wanted me to do it.
Yeah. Even though at times though, people are going to want you to do it, and then you still have that gay. I feel someone asked me to, I should have done it. I fucking should have done it. But someone asked me to open for them at the Moroccan Lounge like a month ago. And I was like, no.
You didn't?
No, I didn't feel like I deserved it. I was like, why? I had a loose band, and I know I could have put together like a punk set and like not even performed any of my tracks that are out and like done a simpler route or write something. But like that little thing of, but do I want to be, is this comfortable to me? Of course it's not going to be comfortable. You're taking a step in your career, but there was a little bit of me that was like,
I mean, I think like every big musician probably has that fear every time they get on a stage. And you obviously see like no one's perfect. We've seen big artists fuck up on stage at the Grammys and singing the national anthem and doing all these things where like, no one's perfect, but I think that like you will probably have the moment where you get up and you're like, this feels good, because people are there for you.
Yeah, you got to build your fan base.
But I get it. I get it.
Also, being a woman too. Sorry, being a woman and having that knack of like, oh, you are a woman, so you have to be perfect and have a dance routine and like do everything perfectly and not be messy, because that's just how it should be. You have to be fighting your way, but especially in the rock scene, like, fuck it, it's not.
You just get up there and do your thing and get off. I mean, you don't owe anyone anything.
Yeah, which I'm learning.
How do you like differentiate the desire to like relate to other people, but also, be able to love and live and be the goofy, fun, artistic, I don't give a fuck Sasha on a daily basis? Like there's those two people, the person that like you know, you are, and you can't, the things that you can't help, the life that you were born into, and the path that you've taken, but then also the side of you where it's like, yeah, I want to be like everyone else, and I want to be able to like the same things. And how do you do both?
It's hard. I feel like it's definitely with work. I think when it comes to my bubbly side comes out when I'm on set for like film or for modeling stuff, because it just, you know, it's a more, for me, like a more low key demeanor, because I'm like, oh yeah, I don't really, I care about acting. I do. Not as much as when I was younger. I don't really, I want, like, it's not a want anymore. It's something that I'd be like, oh yeah, this is epic that I get this opportunity. But like with music, I think that's when I tap into the, oh no, I need to like vent out. I need to tap into the more emotional, vulnerable, serious side, because I take it seriously. And like, especially with like my work ethic, I'm like, I mean, it's like I said before, like going sober, it's like the certain things that I will sacrifice and will really be like, oh yeah, like, you know, we're goofy and like fine when we're hanging out, but when we get in the studio, dude, like we are zoned the fuck in. Like I don't want to sound like I'm like, we're in the studio for hours and we're not breathing and not eating, but it's like we're in there and we're making
like
sure,
locked in and doing it right.
because like that's what makes me happy. It's like having that final result makes me happy. But then when I'm in, you know, at parties, it really depends. If I'm at like a music party, I've seen this, the way that I walk into, if I'm at like a film school college event, I walk in and I'm like, yeah, like, you know, like super like my old self, because it's tapped into that. But then something about when I'm a little, you know, in like even Coachella, dude, like I'm walking around Coachella finding being chill, but there's a little bit more of a calm demeanor, because I'm like, oh god, like I'm surrounded by people that inspire me. I want to ask them questions. I want to, you know, make connections, but like, you know, it's like make connections on a not spiritual level, but on an emotional level, along with, you know, a work level. But do
you think that like by doing that you're also kind of pulling away a little bit from like the Sasha that you are on the inside?
Yeah, it's hard, because the weird thing is that I've felt that from moving around, that masky kind of, you know, bubbly, I always called it my PR training. Like, you know, when you're in LA and you're in the industry, you have this like sense of, oh, everyone's watching, everyone's around. Like it's very sceney of a city, obviously. But it's weird. Like it's a very, you know, discovering yourself and masking in general, like the people that you're closest to, like I'll squeeze a little bit out when I feel a little uncomfortable, or when I'm with people that knew the old me. But when I'm with the ones that really, really understand, and maybe it's a protective layer of sorts, but like I feel it's a very stripped, raw, real version of myself that now I'm not. And maybe this is why it's the person that I bring to new relationships, is because like it's just authentically me. Like I think the old people that I used to hang out with get that more bubbly side, because I was like high all the time. I was like stoned out of my mind, and you know, we were always going out and partying and dancing, and like I was so hyper because I was young. But now I just don't have the fucking energy, and I can't. That veil is getting thinner and thinner.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think it's great that you're in a place right now where you're really figuring it out, and also able to discuss those versions of yourselves in your music and in your life, and you know, really being able to like pinpoint the things that, you know, you can be doing better and that you're lacking in, and just really trying to build up you on a daily basis. It's most people our age are not thinking about that. So it's really, really great that you can even just like publicly share these things.
Yeah. It's not, I feel like it's inevitable. Like as a musician, you really not only have to be vulnerable, but they find out no matter what. I was on TikTok or something last night, and I was going through all like the paper trails of Taylor Swift's new album. And I'm not a Swiftie. I was interested. It just showed up because it's everywhere.
It just showed up. Okay.
And it was talking about like this is how her and like Maddie Healy's relationship and this, like going through all these little loopholes and knowing that like, yeah, the situations, the people, the ones that I write songs that are based off of or that I experience and I carry that on, like my real friends and my close friends, the people that I tell, like they're gonna understand. But then once you get a big fan base, everyone else is gonna also peek into that and want to know
or feel like they know you.
Yeah,
but it's sometimes not you, it's you in a moment. And even looking at Taylor Swift, I mean, she has all these different eras of her life that she wrote through music, but the first album is not, you know, complimentary of her now at all. Baby. I mean, there's little pieces of her in that album that still exist, but she's a different human being. And I think the way that you're sharing your emotions and your music very early on and trying to like really like hone into that black cat Sasha is cool, because there's no, you're like, this is me, take it or leave it.
It's a side of me that no one ever saw. I didn't allow people to. I really, and it's that classic like new kid on the block or like a new kid at school thing. It's like you're constantly trying to be like happy, nice, chill, making sure everyone is okay. And I think when I wasn't doing okay, I really had to make sure that I was as raw as I ever could be. Yeah. And it's something that like I lost friends and gained a lot of friends because the ones that didn't want the realness were not that supportive and not want to be there. And that's probably the same thing with sickness. It's like
they're not able to handle those things.
Yeah.
And I think that like, really being able to like strip back and see who is there for the right reasons and who's like, I'm gonna ride for this girl, whether she can, whether it's just us sitting outside and talking or whether it's me calling her on the phone once a week, if they that's how people showed up and that's all I needed. But sometimes people can't handle those things, and it's evident when situations arise and you're not, you need people. That's when you can really see like whether it's transformation and going from one body to another body, or whether it's illness, or whether it's even like fame coming your way, and you can really see like who's in your life for the right reasons. So
it'll be a wacky journey, but we're writing good tracks from it.
Oh yeah, no, everyone should check out Sasha's music. It is under her name because she's loud and proud and who she is, and it's under Sasha Fox, right? On every
it's on everything. Everything. Spotify.
Everything.
I literally press the button on DistroKid and I'm like, okay, done. Next one. On to the next one.
Fuck it up, dude. Once you put the stuff out, you're like, it's very relieving. But yeah, I think like the biggest thing for me with any kind of art that I put out is like trying to speak to the younger self, trying to speak to the kid that was like had the worst year in 7th grade, and the kid that was trying to figure it out, because I know that exists in everyone. And also just like, I mean, it's my way of like hugging the kid that went through the shit, or like just talking to myself in those experiences and trying to talk through them, or even just like writing a story that like never existed but felt right in the moment. Sometimes it's not my own experiences, it's just shit that I'm like, damn, that sounds like it could be an interesting story, let's write it.
I feel like we're writing, at least for me, I feel like I'm writing for the younger version, writing for the ones that are in that boat, to give them a voice, give them tracks that they can scream and let it out, because I'm grateful for the ones that did it for me.
Completely agree. Okay, I'm gonna ask you one more question before we end this. Well, one is we'd obviously want to see your face again on this podcast, and I feel like there's a lot more things we can talk about. And two, who is dead or alive? This is such like a generic dinner question, but if you could have dinner or lunch or coffee or brunch or a chat with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be?
It would be Prince. It used to be Jim Morrison, but I
thought you were
I know. Tell me what you thought I was gonna fucking say. I would want to have coffee with Jim Morrison, probably to see if I can get a smooch.
Yeah.
A little like flirty situation, but realistically, even like between his work ethic and like just the way that he built the world that he did. And I'm not the hugest, biggest Prince fan.
Yeah.
But I think specifically as like a black artist as well, I'm like, oh God, like I just want to really soak up anything and everything I can. And I think I really didn't, you know, I never saw him. I never saw him in concert. I never saw him in person in my life. My family has, and when I hear stories, I'm like, fuck you guys, god damn.
Yeah.
Like, I wish that I just could have been in the same room. Or Prince.
Cheers to this beautiful conversation. I'm so thankful for you to have such a inspiring, incredible friend in my life, and obviously just like wanting other people to experience you and hopefully check your art out.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to see everything that happens with this podcast.
This is very, very early on in the days. So we are like, I mean, Sasha's a day one. So Sasha is a day one on the podcast as well.
Yes.
Alec is smiling behind the camera because he agrees.
A good thumbs up. I seriously thank you so much. You are such a light, and I always feel like whenever I walk in specifically into this house, but whenever we chat, we just get very raw, very real,
quick, and
it doesn't feel like that masculine. Like I don't feel I have to have any kind of like Hollywood demeanor on. Like from the start, we've just been on the same page, which I
since
appreciate.
We were little 18-year-old kids on FaceTime trying to figure our lives out. 17
watching the Twilight Zone and
it up,
hanging out.
I love those days. Well, those versions of us are in there somewhere, even though they're hiding, but they're here.
They're in
here.
Yeah.